Ms. Green, I think we've got everybody.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well today. I'm going to take a quick detour on the board agenda, and I am going to take a moment of reflection first. So if we could all just take about 15, 20 seconds and have a moment just to reflect where we are today in the country. Okay, thank you, everyone. So today, in an effort to slow the spread of the COVID-19 virus and to encourage social distancing, Governor DeSantis issued Executive Order 20-69, allowing local governments to hold public meetings using communication media technology rather than in a physical location. In keeping with the executive order, this JEA special board meeting is being held by virtual means via WebEx, which allows interested persons to view and participate in the meeting remotely. The purpose of this special meeting is to discuss and take action on, as necessary, to propose fuel charge credit for electric system customers and for the board to receive an informational update on JEA's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. I'll take a few minutes to introduce who we have on the call today. Myself, board member April Green as the chair. We have my fellow board members, Camille Lee Johnson, board member Henry Brown, and board member Dan Gray. We also have our interim CEO, Melissa Dykes. We have OGC representative, Lasikia Hodges. Do I see Danny Beckton? Council member Danny Beckton, are you on the line? I do see Council member Aaron Bowman. Do we have any other council members on the line with us today? All righty. We will introduce the rest of the staff as we move throughout the agenda. But first, I would like to have Sean Eads. He is the Chief Information Officer to give us some instructional guidance as we move forward through this meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Green. For everyone, the meeting agenda and materials, if you cannot see them through the share of the WebEx, are available for everyone on the JEA.com website. They can be found under our board meetings page for those that need to get to the materials. Anyone that may experience difficulties accessing the meeting or experiencing difficulties throughout the meeting can contact myself and folks that are helping me on the phone at 904-665-8205. When the meeting is concluded, a recorded version of the meeting will be placed out on the JEA.com website, along with our previous meetings that are out there for people to go and review. In the event that we have multiple technical difficulties, we will recess the meeting and postpone just to ensure that we are doing this properly. Meeting participation instructions for everyone. Please understand that I have put you all on mute. It is very important that we stay on mute until it is time to speak at the appropriate time. We will, if you look, just a brief rundown of the controls for those that are actually in the WebEx meeting. If you scroll down, you'll see a series of buttons across the bottom. The far left side is a microphone-looking button that should be red right now. That means that you are on mute and we do not hear you. If you click it, it turns a dark gray black, and that means we can hear you. A little further along, there's a little icon that looks like a person. Should you click that, you'll see a participant list. That also is where you can raise your hand. If you scroll over to your name, you'll see a little hand icon and you can raise it for public comment. That's how one of the ways we will determine who would like to make a comment. There's also a chat window. It looks like a chat bubble along the bottom. If you click that, we are not using the chat feature directly in this meeting, but should someone not be able to get the raise hand, they can say that they'd like to provide comment there, and during the appropriate time, we will recognize them. The meeting is being recorded, as I said before. We also want everyone to understand that meeting minutes are being taken care of during the meeting. Therefore, anyone that speaks during the meeting, we ask that you do speak clearly and slowly, that you announce your full name so that we can make sure, because we aren't in person, that we understand who's making the comments and we can capture them appropriately. During the public comment portion of the meeting, I want to describe just how that will go so that when we get there, everybody understands how it will work. We will actually take public comments only on the portions that are part of this agenda. That's what the public comment will be about. We will have 3 minutes of time on public comment. The way we will do that is if someone raises their hand through the WebEx tool, I will recognize them and unmute them. They will then be given their 3 minutes. I will quietly but speak up at 30 seconds. And then obviously at 3 minutes, I will notify that the time is up. After we get through the raised hand portion, I will look and make sure if somebody had chatted and wanted to give a public comment, I will recognize them. And then the last phase of that, we will actually unmute all lines in case someone joined via phone. That's the one time that I ask for everybody to be very still when we reach that point. And we will try to manage giving the opportunity to anybody that wasn't able to get on through the technology. Also, we will read any public comments that had been emailed to us at the beginning of that portion as well. Just so everyone knows, this is a meeting that I ask everybody to be professional, to bear with us as we are all working through these things. I'm very, very proud of all of us and how we've been able to cope and be able to get through things. Should the need arise, if something would happen, we do have the ability to ask someone to leave the meeting. I don't anticipate having to use that, but I do want everybody to understand that I do have those abilities if we would have to. Ultimately, we want to have a great discussion and a great meeting, and I am here to facilitate it and to help along the way. So with that, I think I've covered everything the best I can. Back to you, Ms. Green.
Can I get a motion from my fellow board members to approve today's agenda with the slight modification in the order of the agenda?
This is Henry Brown. Motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
If there are no further discussion on today's agenda, please indicate the agenda is approved by saying aye.
Aye.
Through the chair, it's Lasikia.
Yes.
Office of General Counsel. Can you do that vote by roll call for those who are participating by phone?
I sure can, not a problem. Henry Brown.
Aye.
Dan Gray.
Mr. Gray, you're now unmuted.
Okay, thank you. Aye.
And Camille Johnson, please.
Aye.
April Green, aye. Has approved unanimously. Let's move on. And Ms. Lasikia Hodges, can I please have you go over the Sunshine Law?
Yes, Lasikia Hodges, Office of General Counsel. This virtual board meeting is being held in accordance with Florida Sunshine Law and the authority under the Governor's Executive Order 20-69, which permits local government entities to conduct meetings by communication media technology.
Thank you so much. This is the time that we will actually take public comments. Please keep in mind that the public comments are limited only to the action items that we have submitted on the agenda. So we'll take about a minute or so to see if we have any text questions or any email questions, or I would say, Sean, go ahead and open the mic. And let's see if we have any public comments. Keep in mind, this is only for the action items that is on today's special meeting agenda.
Madrika, do you have any public comments that have been emailed to you through the process?
No, I do not have any email public comments.
Thank you. If anyone would like to provide public comment, please raise your hand in the tool or chat at this moment. I will wait 1 minute. I do not see anyone that has raised their hand, and I do not have anyone that has chatted asking for public comment. So at this time, I will be unmuting all of the lines, and I will ask one more time. So if anybody is on the line, if they could speak up by saying their name, I will try to capture that, and then I will call on you one at a time. I am unmuting all of the lines now. Okay, that was tough. Sorry about that. I will try that one more time. What I will ask, this is much like a radio broadcast. If you dialed in and won something on the radio, if you can turn down your volume on your computer for a second, it will help us. I will open them up one more time because I just want to give everybody the opportunity. Anyone would like to provide public comment? Thank you. Ms. Green, back to you.
Okay, we will take that as there are no public comments at this time. Let's move on to the agenda. Today we will, as we've seen on the agenda, we will discuss the fuel credit for the electric system customers. We have Joe Orfano, which is our interim chief financial officer, and Carrie Stewart, who is the chief customer officer.
Thank you, and good afternoon, Madam Chair and board members. Carrie Stewart and I will be presenting, doing a brief presentation on a recommendation for a fuel credit. So, Sean, if you'll take us to the PDF presentation now, that would be great.
I believe it's presented. No?
No. Here we go.
There, it should be coming back up.
Thank you. Can everyone see that?
I'm seeing
Terrific.
nods.
Terrific. Sean, can we go to page 2, please? Thank you. So staff is recommending a fast track to a bill credit for all of our electric customers. We want to act quickly to ease the impacts on our JEA customers during this coronavirus pandemic. We've experienced lower fuel prices of late and tremendous efficiency of our generating fleet and system dispatch, which has led to improved operations and created an opportunity to share these savings with our customers during this greatest time of need. In the past 5 years, we've been typically lowering the fuel rate over time and extending that benefit out into the future. But at this time, we feel that a fuel credit is the right direction for JEA's customers. And that is our recommendation. If you'll go to the next slide, Sean, please. Thank you. So how do we get to that fuel credit that averages $25 per residential customer? As of this past February, the fuel stabilization fund, I should say, was projected to be at 21% of the maximum fiscal fuel cost in the preceding 5 fiscal years at the end of this fiscal year. So at the end of September, we were anticipating a fuel fund balance 21% of that 5-year high, representing a balance of about $97 million, given no change in this fuel charge. Since this projected balance is expected to exceed the policy target of 15%, staff is recommending a fuel charge credit of approximately $27 million to provide relief to our all electric customers during the May 2020 billing period, and return the year-end fuel stabilization fund balance to the projected 15% target at the end of this fiscal year. This credit would result in a bill reduction of approximately $25 per average residential customer, assuming 1,000 kilowatt hours used during the month. Over to the right, you see the average residential customer bill, the basic monthly charge, energy charge, environmental charge, and I would like to focus on the fuel charge. It's currently at $32.50 per kilowatt hour. Our recommendation is to drop that fuel charge by $24.96 to $7.54, again for a residential customer consuming 1,000 kilowatt hours in the month, so that the total bill would drop from $108.50 to $83.54. That's a drop in the fuel credit component of the bill of 77%. And the overall bill to our customers drops by 23% during the month of May. And again, in blue, you see some of the nitty-gritty behind the pricing policy. We have utilized this fuel rebate strategy in the past. The last one we did was back in 2015. In the last few years, we've opted to, as I said earlier, we've opted to lower the fuel rate. But at this time and during this pandemic, we believe that this is the right thing to do for our customers. So with that, I'll turn the presentation over to Carrie Stewart, our VP and Chief Customer Officer. Carrie?
Thank you, Joe. Sean, can you advance the slide, please? Good afternoon, board members. Thank you all for coming together today for our customers. Adding to what Joe has presented, we looked at multiple ways to process the rebate. I want to start from the right of the slide that you're looking at with checks. The pros of the checks, obviously, this is the first thing we looked at so that people could have a tangible rebate in their hands. The pros are that we can track that every customer is sent the rebate in the mail. The amount is shown clearly on the check itself, and only the customer may cash or deposit the check. The cons with checks are that checks may get lost en route or within the household. Customers would have to call JEA for a replacement check, which happens with our current check cashing process now. A portion of our customers do not have bank accounts, so would have to pay a fee to cash the check and would have to go out in public into a public building to cash that check. The cost of distributing the checks would be approximately $1.75 per check issued, which at a minimum would be about $844,000. To give you some context, JEA averages about 18,000 customer security deposit refund checks a year, and almost 20% of those are returned. Now, those people have probably moved, but to give you an idea, we only process about 18,000 customer refund checks a year. This endeavor would cause close to 500,000 energy customers being eligible for a rebate. And the manpower to process the payments and returns, plus the cost of postage, makes this not an ideal solution. So next we looked at prepaid debit cards. Customers receive what they may perceive more of a gift in the mail with this approach. It should be a customer satisfier. The third-party vendor would actually handle all of the customer questions and issues including returns. The cons with using the prepaid debit cards is that they may be lost or stolen, and they can be used unintendedly by the wrong recipient. Debit cards are not ideal for business customers, especially those who have multiple premises on one account. And the vendor would charge a processing fee for their service and restrict the values to $15 or more, and they cannot currently commit to delivery before mid-May. So finally, we looked at the bill credit option. In this way, every customer is guaranteed to receive their rebate. The amount is shown clearly on the bill. The customer does not need to take any action, and there's no additional logistical cost to JEA for issuing the rebate. The con, obviously, is that the customer doesn't receive a tangible gift in the mail, and the customer is unable to spend the rebate directly on other uses. Rather, they get the indirect savings from the rebate. So a direct customer credit is a direct credit to the customer's bill, we believe is the most efficient way to ensure that all customers receive the rebate they are due. So our recommendation is to process the rebates in this manner. I would also like to add that if you approve this action today, the customer experience team is committed to launching a communications campaign to remind customers that while all customers receive this credit, some are far more in need of assistance than others. If any customer receives the credit and wishes to contribute it to those in need, we will provide suggestions to make it easy for them to share their credit with others impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Next slide, please, Sean. And with that, staff recommends that the board approve a fuel charge credit of approximately $27 million to customers in May of 2020. So back to you, Madam Chair, for any questions or a motion.
Thank you both to Joe and Carrie. Any questions from the board members? I'll start with Dan Gray.
No questions at this time.
Ms. Johnson, Camille Lee Johnson.
None for me.
And Henry Brown.
No questions.
Okay, this is definitely something that is needed at this time, and I want to commend the team. Thank you, Carrie and Joe, but I also want to commend the team for looking at all the avenues and ways in which we can reach out to the community and help our customers any way that we can. Can I get a motion? Can I please get a motion for the fuel credit rebate to take effect in May for all of our electric system customers?
This is Dan Gregg, so move.
Thank you. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Well, I've already asked if there's any questions from the board members, so I won't do that again. Are there any public comments at this time?
Through the chair, it's Lasikia Hodges with OGC. Can you state who seconded the motion for those who are joining by phone?
I believe, who was the second from? Was that from Dan Gray?
No, that was from me, from Henry Brown.
There you go. Do you have both now, Lasikia?
Yes.
Okay. If there are no questions from the public, all in favor of approving the fuel credit for all the electric system customers to take effect in May?
Through the chair, we need a roll call vote. Just want to remind you. Lasikia Hodges.
Please indicate by saying aye, starting with Dan Gray.
Aye.
Henry Brown.
Aye.
Camille Lee Johnson.
Aye.
And myself, April Green, aye. For those opposing, that's a unanimous vote, so the fuel credit has been approved. Thank you so much. We'll move on to the next agenda item, and I will ask interim Melissa Dykes, the interim CEO Melissa Dykes, to come up and give us an update on JEA's response to this COVID-19 pandemic.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Sean, since this is my first time off of mute, can you just nod your head and let me know you can hear me? Okay, thank you. JEA's goal throughout this pandemic situation is to provide reliable service to customers while keeping our employees and community safe. For this review, I will focus primarily on employee protections, business continuity, and customer assistance. We began early in this crisis by implementing social distancing and providing tools and resources to employees so they would not report to work sick. Given how quickly this crisis has evolved, we continue to meet every single day to discuss employee impact and additional employee protections to keep our JEA family safe. To date, all employees who are able to work from home are doing so, with equipment and support from JEA's Technology Services Group. Those who cannot are practicing social distancing, except in very limited circumstances where their work makes that impossible. We staggered shifts for field crews and assigned diverse deployment sites to limit the size of employee gatherings. We distributed signage for field workers and to use and to help keep community members and customers at least 6 feet away from them while they're out in the field. And we promoted social distancing through various communications channels. We increased thorough sterilization of common areas and equipment and provided PPE and sanitizer to all employees, both on site and in the field. Because we're an essential service provider, any JEA employees displaying COVID-19 symptoms receive priority screening at Duval County Department of Health, Mayo Clinic, and UF Health. And I would like to extend a special thank you to Dr. Haley at UF Health and Dr. Thielen at Mayo Clinic for making this possible for us. This faster testing will better enable us to make the right operational decisions to keep employees safe and keep the system operating reliably. Fortunately, JEA has no confirmed coronavirus cases at this time. To ensure business continuity throughout the pandemic, we have established fully redundant electric and water control centers. Both of these control centers are used on a day-to-day basis, but either can control the system in an emergency. We established shelter-in-place plans for our most critical non-redundant facilities, such as our generating stations. Those plans provide for employees to actually live on site for 2 weeks at a time and would only be implemented to the extent the virus impacts power plant operators. By the end of the day today, we will have transitioned residential and commercial call center customer advisors to work from home. That's 109 employees, and it's quite a technology feat. We also implemented health and temperature screening at Northside Generating Station. Today, we're training our screeners, and we'll begin screening employees tomorrow. We'll be expanding this screening to other critical facilities as well. And we will continue to evolve the protections that are in place for our employees to meet our goals of employee safety and system reliability. Shifting to our customers, we also recognize this is an incredibly difficult time for customers. With children home from school, our community in economic hardship, and people experiencing illness, reliable service is perhaps more important than ever before for our community. Our dedicated employees continue to step up to deliver excellent service, both in the field and from our home offices, to make sure we're there when we're needed most. During this time, JEA will not disconnect service and is waiving late fees. On Monday, our credit card fees that are charged by a third-party vendor that handles our credit card payments will no longer be passed on to customers either. If customers have trouble paying their bills or need assistance, they're encouraged to call 665-6000, and we'll work with them, both on connecting them with community resources that can provide assistance and by arranging for payment plans. In the meantime, we continue to provide our customers with tips on water conservation and ways to save money while sheltering at home for both electric and water. And unfortunately, we can't forget that June 1st starts another hurricane season. So we'll be reminding customers not to forget about hurricane preparedness, even as we weather this pandemic. Thanks to the board's action at today's meeting, we will also be able to provide a rebate for all our customers in May and provide customers who wish to contribute to those in need convenient choices to do so. I wish our community was not impacted by COVID-19, but unfortunately, this pandemic has become our reality. JEA is ready to serve throughout and will continue to keep our employees and community safe while providing the reliable service that JEA is always known for. With that, Madam Chair, I'll turn it back over to you, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Any questions from the board starting with Henry Brown.
No questions.
Dan Gray.
No questions.
And Ms. Camille Lee Johnson.
No questions. Thank you.
Thank you to all of you. I don't have any questions at this time either. I would just like to say thank you so much for all of the efforts, Melissa, that you and your team has gone above and beyond to ensure the safety of the employees of JEA. And now even to take the time to do the research to look for opportunities to also help the community, our customers directly. And with that, if there are no other questions at this time, Office of General Counsel, is there anything else that we need to cover before we adjourn this meeting?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone on the call. Please continue to stay safe. Keep your family safe. Keep your neighbors safe. Everybody just continue to look out for one another. And with that, I will adjourn the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.